The city of Sarasota is only about 25 square miles. So how many properties do you think the city owns besides City Hall?
Would you believe they own about 203 properties? And that includes some valuable bayfront property the city is renting for only $1 a year, and in some cases less. Here's a closer look in this special report. Taxpayers in Sarasota own 203 properties all over the city. Everyone knows about City Hall, but did you also know the city is the landlord to places like Moat Marine, the West Coast Symphony, and the Garden Club? Some very nice waterfront property, and for each of those renters and a few others, the city only charges $1 a year. But wait, there's more. Of all the 203 properties the city owns, it's this one that causes a lot of frustration for taxpayers. The city owns the Lawn Bowlers property, but doesn't get any revenue on this one, not even $1 a year.
We simply can't afford that kind of largesse.
Martin Hyde ran for Sarasota City Commission, mostly due to his frustration over what he calls out of control and wasteful spending. He said he was shocked to hear City Manager Tom Barwin recently showing interest in buying this bayfront area property, the Players Theater, for nearly $10 million.
An extraordinary amount of money. The fact that nobody else wants to buy it tells you what the value is.
So we went right to the top to ask the city manager about the amount of city-owned real estate and his goal to buy more. But we couldn't help but start by asking about the half-dozen prime waterfront locations that they're only charging $1 a year for, when they could generate perhaps maybe millions more overall. I had heard the Garden Club was $1 a year. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah, it's a public service group. That property on the bayfront was acquired, most of it, through laws in the state of Florida called submerged land laws. And those properties, many of them are restricted in their use.
To be fair, most of the city's other 203 properties are paying much more than $1 a year. But what about Barwin's interest in buying more land, or land banking as he calls it?
We have a couple of major parking garages downtown. Those were a result of land banking and looking ahead, far ahead, to the days when we would need public parking.
Are there any of the 203 that might be superfluous or something you might want to shed to bring some money back, maybe cut taxes?
Well, we have sold properties over the years. We acquire them for a variety of ways, but most of the properties we own now are being considered for a variety of uses and options.
Some taxpayers feel the city no longer needs to have a 45-hole golf complex that's lost $500,000 each year for the past decade. But Barwin says the Bobby Jones complex isn't up for discussion.
We're going to go through the analysis of, what we can do to bring that back up to pay for itself. But the city commissions have made the decision that the 200 plus acres at Bobby Jones will remain in public ownership and control in perpetuity.
So 203 properties in a 25-mile radius owned by the city. Good investments or a waste of tax dollars? With only about 15 to 20% of registered voters going to the polls, it could be concluded the vast majority of voters are staying away because they're satisfied with the status quo. Now, a lot of this will be changing once Bayfront 2020 gets the wheels in motion, but right now they're still a couple years away.
And I don't mind them owning properties per se, but they should be generating income, I would think, so that we can have future development.
Well, Tom Barwin said it's all about the quality of life, the nonprofits, the Garden Club. That's wonderful. We need the Garden Club. Some think, well, gee, do they have to rent a place on the bayfront for $1? Couldn't they rent something more inland?
So that you can use the bayfront property for bigger projects.
More revenue, make more tax dollars.
Well, no doubt there's a debate on what we should do with our bayfront, and it hopefully is getting to some conclusions, because it's been a long one.
That certainly is. 6:21 right now. Thank you.